Welcome all, Boone here from EWPRO, getting straight into the weekly outlook. Starting with the DXY on the D1. There's two scenarios here. We got that WXY X2 and we get a Z up, or we get like a WXY X2 and a Z down in here, and then we get a larger correction. On the H4, we got the 3 down. We're getting this trend line break here now. If I just adjust this fib. So we're looking for buys. This would be the first target here, this 38.2. So we got 3 down with bullish divergence on the H4, 1, 2, 3. Like I said, we got this trend line break in here. On the H1, we'll be looking for a buy. If you get any sort of a buy setup in here this week, either a correction or a flag, we'll be looking for that buy up to that 38.2 against this invalidation point here. So this isn't your stop loss. This is the invalidation point for your buy setup. So if you get, you'll be looking for a buy setup within here, within this impulse here. If you don't get a buy setup and it just keeps on coming down and breaks that low, well, you don't get a trade. More than likely, if it does come down in a corrective sort of a structure, it'll be a B wave and we'll get an A, B, C. But I am looking for just a correction in here and then more upside up to that 38.2 as the first target. AU on the daily. So if I just zoom into this last bit here, if you want to go through all the rest, you can go back in time on YouTube and see what's all happening in here. But we got that 1, 2, 3 down. We got a higher high here. So now I'm just looking for a larger correction, a daily correction, and then more upside. There still is a chance that this may come down and break that low. Definitely can't rule that out at this stage, but I am only really looking for a correction, and it looks like we're starting to get the start of a correction on the daily. We may be starting to get a correction on the daily, so I'll be just looking for that correction and then more upside. H4, we got those 3 up. We got this like A, B, C. We got the bearish divergence at the top there. H1, we're looking for sells. I was looking for an A, a B, and a C, and it did go up and break that top. So this is the C over there. So that completed, and we're now on our way down. So again, same as DXY. We're just looking for a correction in here this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, perhaps, and then we're looking for more downside. This may not be over. This here may not be over and keep on going down, but eventually we will get a correction. We'll be waiting for that correction and looking for downside. EU on the daily. So like I've been mentioning for many months now, you know, we've broken that top there. There still is a possibility that we get a Z down, but it becomes slimmer. That I can't really go into those details, but so I'm just looking for a correction in here, like many of the others on the daily, and then more upside. On the H4, we got that wave Z up. We got that wave Z up. We got all this bearish divergence. So we're looking for a short, you know. We're looking for that 50 fib retracement that's in here somewhere. So that'll be a target for these shorts. And it goes for pretty much all the majors. They're all very similar. Remove that. So H1, again, we got that lower low. We're looking for a correction in here and then more downside. GU on the daily. So again, we broke that top there, like I've mentioned in previous YouTube videos. So I'm just looking for a correction and more upside. Very similar to all the others. On the H4, we didn't. I put out that trading view idea in here. I think it was at the break of that breakout here. I put that trading view idea. Now, this top here did get broken, so technically that wave Z is over. We've crossed down. So we got the 5 up with bearish divergence. It didn't get to the targets I was looking for, but that's fine. It did complete its wave Z. So again, you know, we're just waiting for a correction. You know, if you get a correction, look for the sell, like most of the other pairs. Back to the 50 fib on the daily. Okay. So if I quickly draw the 50 fib, so you know what we're looking for, and this goes for all the pairs, pretty much, all the majors. So we're looking for that 50 fib retrace. So we're looking for a correction. And we got that break above there. So again, we're just waiting for a correction in here and then more upside. Again, I put this trading view idea out on H4. And again, it didn't get to the first and second target, but we did break that top for the wave Z, so it's possibly over. We got the bearish divergence. H4. You know, there is a couple of scenarios. You know, this can be an A, B, C, and then we get a C down for an expanding flat. Now, I'm really only interested in the downside, but if you do get an impulse up and a correction or flag on the lower time frames, you can look for at least a C up. It may turn into, you know, this is a flat here and we get an A, B, C. So if you do get a buy setup, you can buy it. But there's two scenarios. It just gives you an A, B, and a C up in here, and then more downside. Or this one goes up and breaks the top. So there's two scenarios. We're looking to see what happens in here. If it gives us a bearish setup, well, we'll sell. If it gives us a bullish setup, well, we'll buy. GY, GY, sorry, on the daily. So we got that like WXY, just looking for a correction and then a Z down, like I've mentioned in many other YouTube videos. This may become more complex. We get an A, a B, a C, and then we get the A, B, C. And then the downside. But either way, this is looking corrective. If I just remove all this. So again, this one's looking more bullish. So like I showed on the H4, we got 1, 2, 3 up in here. Then we're looking at that 1, 2, 3. So if you get a bullish setup in here, well, you can look for the buy to go and break that, just to go and break that top. If it gives you a sell setup, if it gives you some sort of a sell setup in here, well, then we'll look for the sell. UY on the daily. So we got that WX extended wave Y X2, and we still can get a possible Z up. Or we have broken that low, so it may just give us a correction in here. But we're looking for the buy on the lower time frames. So you can see we did get a break out of here on the H1. I mean, I was looking for this over here. If I just adjust this 100 Feb, so we're looking at some sort of an A, B, C, and then we get that A, B, C. So again, you know, if we get any bullish setup in here, you can look for that buy just up to that 100 Fib. That'll be your first target, that 100 Fib. And again, you know, it may turn into a contracting flat. So, you know, once this top here is broken, well then, you know, if you get a sell set up, well then you can look for a sell. But at this stage, it's more bullish. You know, we're looking for a bullish setup. USD CAD. This one's very choppy, and like I've mentioned, you know, we're waiting for a correction of similar size to this over here. So this can be very choppy and give us quite a few different structures in here. We may get an A, B, C, and then we get an A, B, C before we get that, looking for that Z up. This has become very deep. You know, this in here has become very deep to this wave here. So, you know, I'm sort of only looking for an A, B, C. This one here, we haven't broken out of the trend line here yet. We've got all this bullish divergence. So, you know, again, like most of the others, this isn't as nice as most of the others, but if we get a correction in here, possibly go down onto the, well, we are on the H1. If we get some sort of a correction, bullish correction, well, we'll look for the buy for at least an A, B, C. USD Swiss franc, we got that WXY, and we got this A, B, C. This is invalid here now. This we won't be getting a Z up because we've broken this low. So if I just go back there, so all I'm looking for is a correction, some sort of a correction in here, a larger correction back to that 50 fib of this move here. So I'm looking for a correction. So on the lower time frames, we're looking for that wave A. We can trade that wave A and that wave C. This is, like I've mentioned many times before, this is looking very much bullish. You know, it hasn't gone yet, and we got all that bullish divergence. So we've only been looking for the buys. Some years may got in for them before the non-farm payroll, and you know, got this in here. Ideally, that's what you did. So again, like most of the others, we're just looking for a correction in here and then more upside. E.g., there's, like I've mentioned, there's a couple of different scenarios. This is either A, B, C, and we get that C up to finish off a B wave, or this was an A, B, C in here, and this goes up and breaks the top. Well, it's starting to look very much bullish. I was looking for downside in here after these 5 up. It gave us this nice impulse down. It didn't even give us 3 down. So we got some sort of a contracting flat in here. It's gone up. So we're just looking for a buy setup this week and more upside. You'll have to be very careful with this. We lost the bearish divergence. We lost that bearish divergence. So, you know, we can get more upside in this. So you can definitely trade bullish on the lower time frames if it gives you some sort of a setup. Here you may get some sort of an opportunity to buy with it, like an A, B, C, get the C down, and then on the lower time frames, look for your buy setup down in here somewhere for an A, B, C. Looking at gold on the daily. So like I've been mentioning on the daily, for many weeks, we got that higher height. So I'm just looking for a correction in here. Now we may be in the start of this A wave. As a basic structure, you know, we'll be looking for some sort of an A, B, and a C down. You know, we don't know what sort of correction we're going to get in here, but this is just like a regular flat, like an A, B, C. Doesn't go and break that top. Or it may come down here, give a correction, and just break that top, and then we'll look for a running or expanding flat. But either way, I'm just looking for a correction in here on the daily, like many of the others, before we get more upside. So we've finished off this, if I zoom out, we got those 5 up, we got that W, X, Y, X2, and extended waves there up. We got the bearish divergence in here, like all that bearish divergence. So we're only looking for the sell now. So again, you know, I'm just waiting for a correction in here and then look for the sell. And again, you're targeting that 50 fib. You're targeting the 50 fib of this. So if I just draw it. So this is what we're targeting, that 50 fib in the 61.8. Silver, very similar to gold. This one may give us another one down in here as like a, so we got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We may get 1, 2, 3 down in here. sort of, if I go down to the lower time frames, if we look here, this is starting to get too large, this correction now. It's starting to get too large for a Z up. If I remove that. So on the H1, again, we're just looking for, well, if I just go back to the H4, you can see we got all this bearish divergence, you know. So on the H1, we're looking for sells like all the others. We got a high here. This is the high, and we got that nice impulse down. So we're just looking for a sell back to that 50 fib, and then we'll be looking for more downside. Bitcoin. This has given that nice impulse up, like we've mentioned. So I'm really just waiting for a correction in here. Not so much a daily correction, but more of a H4 correction and then more upside. You can see this is ending something here. We got bearish divergence. So I'm sort of looking for, if I go down to the H1, we're looking for that 38.2 retracement. So this would be your first target here if you're looking for that sell. Make sure that that's the top. It's not. There it is there. So we're looking for that 38.2 and the 50 fib retrace. I'd definitely be looking to take half off at that 38.2. This one here hasn't really given us a nice sell setup yet. We do have all that bearish divergence, right? But we don't have that nice impulse down at this stage. So this is going to be, this is looking more corrective for upside at this stage. So we may get another one up in here. Really need to go down to the lower time frame, see what's happening in here. But yeah, we really want to see a break of that low there, or better yet, this low here. We want a nice impulse down, breaking these lows, and then, you know, we can look for a 50 fib retrace to look for that sell. S&P 500, we got those 5 down. We got 5 up in here. Sort of looking for an A, B, and a C in here, some sort of larger correction, and then I can really load up on the buys. On the H4, you can see that I was looking at this. I'm looking at this as a B wave, and I still am looking at this as a B wave. Remove that because that's complete. You know, so I'm looking for like an A. All this is a B, and then a C, and then we get more upside. This has kept on going up in here, and it's broken that top. We've lost the bearish divergence by the look of it. Yep, we've lost that bearish divergence up in this wave in here. So it's very risky. You know, for the sell, we need a nice impulse down before we can, you know, look for a sell. This may give, you'd have to go down onto the lower time frames to look for your trade in here. Yeah. AU 200. Well, on the daily, like we've mentioned, we're looking for that 100 fib for the ABC. Up in here, we were looking for that 50 fib retrace. We got that 50 fib retrace, and, you know, it's looking very much bullish on the daily. H4, it's still just one wave, you know. But on the H4, go back to that, you know, we will be looking for a correction in here, a H4 correction, to buy, to finish off that daily. You can see on the H1, this is starting to come to an end. You know, we're getting all that bearish divergence. So really, it's still bullish. There is no sell set up on it. It's still very much bullish. But wherever this ends, we'll be looking for that trend line break and a sell setup to sell. I wouldn't be buying up here. It's way too risky to be even scalping up here. Scalping buys. I'll be more interested to wait for a sell setup to sell for that correction. The FTSE. So this has turned into an expanding flat. I'm still looking at this as an A, B, C to finish off that B wave, and then we get that C down. So I am looking for a sell setup so that it hasn't fallen over just yet. Again, on the H4, we're getting all this bearish divergence. We're getting even more bearish divergence now, but this has gone up and broken that top. This trend line still is holding. So we can adjust this trend line. But yeah, we're starting to get that bearish divergence. If you recall, you know, we're looking for that wave Z up on the H1. We've got that W, X, Y, X2, and it's up to that first target, and it may get up to that second target, that 161.8. So really, you need to wait for all this to be over and then look for yourself. I mean, I wouldn't be buying up here. You've missed the wave Z up. If you're not in it already, I wouldn't go, you know, buying up here. It's just dangerous. Looking at the DAX on the daily. So this is very similar, you know, still looking at it as a flat for an A, B, C, and then we get an A, B, C before we get, you know, more upside. On the H4, again, very similar to the FTSE, you know, we're getting all that bearish divergence. H1, very similar, you know, we got that wave Z up. Got that wave Z up. So, you know, if I just remove that. I'm really waiting for a sell setup. This may not be over in here. You'd have to go down to the lower time frames. But I'm really looking for an impulse down and then a sell setup. Something to sell now. I'm not interested in buys up here. These were your buys up here, down the bottom here. So, yeah, that'll be it for this week. I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook. If you did, please hit the like button. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.